Okay, let's see how this goes. This is number 2. With an appropriate name. Very, very similar to a euphemism for excrement. Let's see how long I keep doing this for. I think I've got 10 minutes of this rubbish. What was I talking about before? Donald Trump. I will be working on this to make this better and better. I'm going to be getting interviews. I'm going to be getting everybody in here. Strippers, midgets, little people, dwarves. I was thinking about that actually today. If you could choose the nomenclature for your particular subgroup within the human family, and you were a person of restricted growth, and you had a choice between 3, midget, dwarf, or little person. Well, first of all, dwarf and little person sound like mythical creatures. They don't actually sound like they are parts of the human family. But for some reason, midget is the most highly offensive word to call a person of restricted growth, a dwarf, or a little person. Now, if you go up to somebody and say, "Hey, little fella, how you doing?" and it's a woman, or perhaps you're fluffing in a porn movie, I don't know, whatever you do, you're Russian, it's part of your act. You're back at the Kremlin with the dancing bears and the little people of restricted growth dwarfs. Anyway, that's what I just noticed, is that midget, well, I noticed it before. Why have they chosen that one to be upset by? Everything's arbitrary, really, isn't it? What word you get upset by. Like, I get upset when people call me gorgeous. I'm tired of it. It never ends. It's a consistent and constant adoration of my physical features. They don't care about the massive girth of my penis, the tall, loping stride of my confident swagger. No, it's just the beauty of my facial features. And I'm furious about it. So this is just a working class scum. No one's going to listen to this one. It's number 2, appropriately. So I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want. I probably won't swear that much, just for the hell of it. Because no one's going to listen to it. It's just me. So I'll just say whatever I want. I guess I'll talk about in the news again. Donald Trump is, he does that thing with his hands. Like, isn't it quite strange how the mannerisms that people have? How do they develop those mannerisms? Do I have funny mannerisms? I'm actually moving my hands when I'm talking right now. You can't see it. But where do people develop that? Where does it come from? I've seen studies of twins, or a TV documentary about them, and the ones that are really, they're all identical twins are clones. I don't know if you're aware of that fact. They are genetically identical, which is probably had something to do with them being named identical twins. Obviously, it did. But twins, some of them are a lot more heterogeneous. Or I'm using big words for the intellectual part, instead of the scum part. Some of them are a lot more different from each other than other identical twins. And I saw this documentary, and there were 2. Well, no, it's quite funny with identical twins. They'll always have the passive one and then the active one. The kind of dominant one will do all the talking, and the other one will just sit there passively while the other one does it, even though they're the same person. It's quite hilarious to watch. Kind of charming. Bit weird. I'm not saying we hunt them down and crucify them. And not maybe give it a few years. We need a scapegoat. Let's kill all the identical twins. I'm sure that's probably happened at some point in history. Twins were considered to be unclean, satanic, taboo. the fault, the reason that something shit happened. Something shit happened. Fucking hell, what? Why did this shit thing happen? It was them. They fucking did it! Yep, that is the best way to handle a crisis. Project it on someone else. That is my advice to anyone. Just project it on somebody else, man. Just don't give a shit. Project, project, project. Reject, reject. Object, objection, Your Honour. Just keep doing that. What else was it? I might as well talk about it. So I'm just getting a feel for this. What should I talk about? Things that are in my head. Things that are in the news. Well, the mainstream media, as soon as I start talking about this stuff, I automatically sound like a right-wing Kekistan guy. Which I'm not, and I don't trust those guys, but because I guess they have the kind of... because they are not the establishment used to be them, and they lost ever since the 60s. It's kind of been going downhill, and also since the ruling class noticed using identity politics as a very effective way of dividing and conquering the lower orders. And I really, really think everybody has to clue into that. That's what's going on. So when the rich people that you see on the media, you all are rich and all live in rich areas and hang around with other rich people, and they're just maintaining their status and their class and their wealth. They don't give a shit about, maybe, superficially so they can pat themselves on the back about how incredibly caring they are. They don't care about the suffering of... Maybe they feel guilty, who knows, but there's definitely, if in any way they were inconvenienced or had something that interrupted their quality of life, you better believe they would lose their tolerance pretty quickly. So they're just showing off of how wonderfully kind and lovers of diversity they are while living in incredibly diverse areas. So they've really rich people have got the ability to live wherever they want, and that's why they always choose really diverse areas and send their children to really diverse schools and keep telling everybody else the strength of diversity. That's why is there anything more diverse than a really rich area? It's fantastically diverse, fantastically vibrant. Or a private school. My God, those are diverse, aren't they? I mean, you've got your blondes, you've got your darker blondes, you've got your few redheads, although I think they stopped allowing them entry into the private school education system, just in case people got, the wrong idea that they actually, were diverse. I mean, it's one thing to say one thing and then to actually do the actual thing is a bit gauche. This is good. This is just me ranting all my bitter, held feelings about... I don't even care. I don't care if they're rich. I just hate people hypocritically, sanctimoniously lying to me with a smug smirk on. Well, they're not even smirking, are they? It's just the sense of entitlement and self-righteousness is just nausea-inducing. So that's why I'm doing this under a false name or no name, in case they come after me. But that's what it's all. But they'll be okay. I think I'll be all right. And obviously, you got to be very careful if you start getting into racial stuff, man. That's heavy. You got to get people's feelings, and that's what they play on it. That's what's so horrible. The rulers of us all play on that, our altruism, and and turn it when it should be about how much money they are ripping us all off of. I mean, why do they deserve to have some? I agree. They can be rich. There's always going to be rich people, but how much do they need? That is what I'll be repeating every single time, probably, because it just is annoying to me. And hopefully people out there can relate to what I'm saying. I don't know.